So, I mean, I think that one of the things that yeah, because I am an anti-capitalist, and the best things that have emerged from this province have been the things that developed as an end run around capitalism, kind of like hindering stuff, right? Like the crown corporations exist because private utility companies wouldn't
Yeah,
run phone lines to, all of these communities that were just too far away, right? Like those things happened because people were like, okay, well, we have to find an alternative. Like
yeah,
this system isn't going to work for us, so we need to find an alternative. The reason that we have Medicare was because people were like, well, we're too poor to have doctors. Like we can't afford to have doctors in our town. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to have we'll hire, like we'll have a municipal doctor plan, and we'll hire a doctor as a municipality, and we'll all pay out of our taxes, and this is
right.
what we'll do, right? And this is how we will evade these harms. And I find that, really, really interesting. And I find it, like that there was a time back when people could conceive of a world, like an alternative to capitalism, right?
Yeah,
And not only see that there was an alternative to capitalism, but that it was within their power to do it themselves. That
right.
they didn't have to wait for anybody. They didn't have to do, like they didn't have to, like file petitions or whatever, right? They were just like, okay, how do we do this? And they figured it out and they did it. And I think that kind of is not always, but often lost in, our contemporary society, right? People don't necessarily have a sense, or
Yeah,
these institutions have been built up, and so then people want to rely on the institutions that have been built up, and even if those institutions aren't working and not functioning, in our service, they're like, well, but that's what the institution is for, right? Like,
right.
and so we should do this. And so I really am quite fascinated with that, aspect of our history, where people were just, like, well, we need a solution to this problem, and so we're
Yeah,
going to solve it, and we're going to do that ourselves. And who cares what else? And they did that concurrently. And I think this is important too, is that they did that concurrently building a party, right?
right, right.
Like it wasn't like, okay, we'll build a party and then we'll push the party to have policies that will get us the things that we want, right?
Right.
They were like, okay, we're gonna do this.